make the strings.
Alright, what's up guys? So I guess today's video, like I said in the other day's video, I'm going to go ahead and yank this thing off the pallet, and I'm going to put it on the engine stand and start tearing it apart. I got my ECU, the ECU that I took out of it when I went to the last drift event in Winter Jam. I took my ECU and the throttle body off of this engine just to take with the drift car, just in case, you know, I didn't want to be like 20 hours from home and need, you know, have like an issue or something like that. But didn't have any issues with it. Basically, I don't know, all I did was change tires to it other than that. But yeah, kind of getting a little bit of a later start today. I kind of cleaned up a little bit of stuff around the shop and took care of a few little things on the F350. I put some new tires on the drift car as I burnt them off on the last week's live stream. If you guys have never tuned in for a live stream, I wouldn't say they're a whole lot of fun, but I end up like rambling and, you know, going on a lot of tangents about things and kind of explaining a lot of stuff that I normally, you know, kind of try to not ramble too long in the videos. But yeah, I did a burnout. I end all the live streams with a burnout. So I did a burnout with this and finished the tires off. But so one of the things I want to do is get this damn 6.7 out of the way. And I already tried yesterday to see if this engine hoist would pick up the JZ off of this pallet, but as you can see, it's too wide. So we're gonna do something kind of a little bit ghetto. I'm gonna go ahead and yank I'm basically gonna pull it over here with the pallet dolly and or the pallet jack. I stick it under one of the lifts and then wrap a chain around one of the posts right here, and then actually lift it up by doing that, which isn't probably the best thing to do, especially when there's a car on it, but I don't have any other options really. So and basically the same thing with the 6.7. So I'm gonna try to put that on a pallet so I could actually, you know, move it around, stuff it over here, or I don't know what I'm doing with that thing. I shouldn't have bought it as a core. I paid extra for it to keep it because I thought it'd be cool to like look at and, you know, maybe sell parts off of it, but it's pretty destroyed. So I don't know. I might see if the guy that I got the engine from will buy it back. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and move the drift car, scoot this thing around, and we'll start tearing something apart or trying to get something to run. Either way, we're gonna make something happen today. So one of the main things that I get asked when you know, talking about these 2J swaps or whatever, is everybody asks like, how do you wire it? So we're gonna do that today. I'm gonna teach you guys how to, or show you guys how to wire it. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm gonna set this damn camera to where you could see. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna show you guys the first step. Okay, so what you do, you come right here. This is gonna be your very best friend. So you just come right here, you go Google, and you type in 2JZGTE VVTI wiring. Search. Bam, number one. JZS 161, 2JZGTE VVTI. Aristo, that Wilbo 660 or something like that. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable over here. I'm going to turn on the David button. Okay, so check this out. So when you scroll down, it kind of shows you the pinouts on the ECU. Shows you a little plug on the side. I think that's the, I'm pretty sure that is the immobilizer stupid thing. So anyhow, you just kind of scroll down. And as you scroll down, if I remember correctly, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Okay, keep going. You'll just keep scrolling. You scroll through the whole thing. Okay, now see that. See that guy right there on the edge? See how that's dark? You go right there. So you go plug F60, pin 1, battery power input. This pin is used to display constant battery power to the ECU. This pin is connected to the battery voltage at all times via a 25 amp fuse. So then you put that in your mental notebook. But basically you just scroll down. Keep scrolling down, you find another one. What is that one? F60, B+. Pin number 16, switch battery power. Keep scrolling. You'll see all that stuff in it. It shows you. So this is pin. What connector is this? I'm not sure which one that is. Yeah. So then you look right here. ECU, reverse gear, automatic transmission. Body loom needs to be connected to the engine, R input pin, and reverse lights. Body loom of this pin needs to be connected to battery via a 5 amp fuse. Alternator battery voltage sense. So you just keep on scrolling. Body loom, input, power to fuel injectors, power. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this connector is the main one. Which one's that? Body loom plug white. So yeah, check that out. So then you scroll down, see all the stuff. Input, switch relay, starter motor, all that stuff. So all that stuff needs power. Pretty much everything is dark. Sorry if I got away from you guys. I was reading. But yeah, I'll show you this plug too. So yeah, right there. All that crap. So I guess we're gonna do that. So instead of doing the whole put the harness next to the drift car and plug it in, we're gonna do it on this guy. So this harness is pretty messed up. I mean, I'm not gonna repair that that wiring right there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to yank the upper intake manifold off of it, pull this whole wiring harness off of this thing, and then yank the engine harness that we had that we pulled off of the giveaway car's engine, which was the original engine that was supposed to go in here, and loosely set it across this thing. Basically, not really plug in a whole lot of stuff, but basically we'll just plug in like the crank angle sensor, coolant temp, VVTI thing, injectors, and crank angle things, and then the ECU and the injectors, or the coils, and that should be to where we get to start it. That'll probably, I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I almost was just gonna throw this on the stand, but I figured for you guys' sake, I'll do this. And at the giveaway car, we did use the Wiring Specialties harness, like their Pro Series harness that was the direct to S14 plug and play. And literally, it like plugs into all the factory stuff. You don't have to wire anything. All you have to do is give like the alternator a power wire, the starter a power wire, and that's pretty much it. Like it plugs in. So if any of this confuses you, or you don't like the way it looks, because obviously the engine wiring is not very long, and you have to have a kind of like an engine bay ECU, which I'll show you right here. This is out of an IS300. So this is basically the stock thing. The ECU just slips right in here, and then you know, all the plugs and stuff plug right into the ECU. Has a nice grommet, and then see this white plug. I'm pretty sure that's the one, the body harness plug, and then these ones. So I'm going to show you kind of how I literally only had to cut one wire to wire into this 2J harness on this side of the harness, and I think that was for like to tell it was in park or something stupid like that. But pretty much what I did is I got one of these IS300 ECU boxes, and I cut these wires right here, or I tapped into these wires right here on the bottom, and basically gave those things power, or like repinned it if I needed to do that. But basically just gave these things power, and then it was pretty much plug and play, because these are the plugs that you get. Well, no, it's those ones right there, the cut off ones. So yeah, that was a ramble. We're gonna get to doing that. Sorry, my camera died there for a little bit, but it didn't take me too long to put everything back on because I basically just set it on there loosely. Took me just a second to remember where all the coils and stuff went because they're batch fire. But I guess another good example of why these harnesses kind of suck is because once you take them apart is all the little connections break. So you can see right there, there's not like the clip that actually holds that locked in there. And then you can see right here, it actually broke off the edge. Same thing with this one in the back. You know, connectors and stuff like that. Same thing with like right here for the map sensor, that thing's kind of broken off. The wiring, you know, just kind of crunchy, it's old. I mean, when all this harness is just really old, so it's kind of, you gotta be kind of delicate when you're moving it around, especially if you wanna try and reuse it. But yeah, so I am not going to be reusing this harness or the stock ECU on the red Supra over here. I will be going, I'm not sure exactly the ECU package, but probably the ECU master, the EMU. And then I believe Wiring Specialties is coming out with, or when I was talking to him, when we worked with him on the giveaway car, they said in a couple months they were going to have like a Mark IV Supra engine harness. So that'd be really cool if we could, you know, basically work together with them and do the, you know, like the aftermarket, you know, standalone ECU, you know, top feed fuel rail with injectors and all that stuff, single turbo. Just almost like a plug and play directly into the Mark IV Supra chassis. If not, nonetheless, they still make that harness. So like 2JZGTE with the ECU and the harness, and they can pretty much make you whatever you need. And so I'll just have them kind of wired up like race car style, and then I'll just tie it into the factory harness from there. So that's kind of the plan with that. But I got the ECU plugged in right here. I have this harness plugged into this little guy right here. This is the IS300 thing. You could always just tap into some of these wires or cut the wires if you don't have this plug, but I definitely recommend getting one of these. And kind of the engine bay fuse box if you are going to go that route. The other thing I went ahead, this is just the back side that goes to the grommet. There is, let's see, which one was it? Was it this one? Okay, so there is one additional plug you need on the ECU. So when you get the ECU shipped to you, you want to make sure you have this one that goes on the end, and then there's a couple wires that you tie into. This is the main one where you're going to be plugging a lot of stuff in, as well as on the back side of this. So not super complicated, but I'll show you a little bit in my drift car. I do have to rob the igniter out of here because I don't have one of those. Yeah, you'll see right here on this end, this plug is the main plug. There is, looks like there's one plug, one wire going right there to this plug. So you'll need that one too. But all of these, you see I gave them a little bit of a haircut. And most of these wires right here I left because you could use these for like diagnosing with a, what am I trying to say? Like a light. So you could do like the check engine light. And so that's why I have this stuff. So if you ground a couple of these together, you know, it'll do the check engine light deal. But yeah, you can see I have it tied together on the back side. This thing is right there. And then literally the only wire that I have, oh look, right there, there it went. The only wire I had cut into this harness was that one right there. And I forget exactly what that one tells it, but it's something to do with like the ECU to tell it it's in park, or that I think that's actually to tell it that it's starting. I think that's what it is. So when it starts, it gives the ECU power and it like fires the injectors or blips the throttle or something along those lines. But yeah, I'm gonna rob this, and then yeah, look at the chart. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I wrote F60 and F59. I lost that other plug though. Good thing I had this one, or I have this one out of the IS300 harness or whatever. But yeah, so I guess the plan is I'll be back tomorrow. Jamie cooked dinner, so I'm gonna run home and do that. And I got another video, or the other video, to edit. So you guys will see that, and I might make like some sort of a weird diagram to where it's like easier to understand, not really easier to understand, easier for me to understand. Either that, or I'll just print the paper. I'll just print out that thing and then just like write what it is in there, and it'll make it a lot easier. So I'm gonna probably do that, just because scrolling through my phone and then over here, and then you know how that goes. But I'll be back tomorrow. All right, so I back here tomorrow or the next day, and so this is F59 and this is F60. So F60 is this guy right here. Sorry you can't really see this. I printed it out and it really sucked. But if you look at it on the website, so you'll see, I guess I could go back. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just scrolling through. You'll get to right here. So you can see right there, F60, number 1. It's highlighted in dark over here. This pin is connected to battery voltage at all times. So I went to the number 1 pin. So if you look over here, this is basically the connector looking from the back. See how there's like that little like triangle right there? And then you see a little triangle right here. So you're basically looking at the back of the connector, and it makes sense because this wire is black with yellow. So basically you want to hook this wire to battery positive, this wire over here to battery positive, this, and this to positive, and then that bottom one. So basically everything on this plug that is kind of highlighted here goes to positive. So like I said, that'll be this one, all 3 of these, and then this one. And it's really, really easy to see because you basically just scroll down and it shows number 7 right there, number 7, and it says plus BM, which is what it shows over here is plus BM, ETC-SI power input. And then you're just like, yeah, this pin is connected to battery voltage at all times. This pin is connected when voltage and the EFI relay is energized to supply power. And you know, that's 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you scroll down a little bit more, and then you'll see right there, it's just 60 or 16, and that's B plus, and then that is that very bottom one. So as long as you pretty much have can figure out like how to read that, I mean it's pretty simple. And I guess the concept goes for almost any engine swap is you just have to figure out what needs power and what needs ground and what needs to see what, because over here on the F59 plug there's one thing that needs power when you turn the ignition and it like blips the throttle and stuff, but I don't even know if I'm even gonna mess with that. So basically all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come right here and I'm gonna grab this one, pull them to the side, these 3 right here in a row, 3 little guys, pull all these guys to the side. And so yeah, that's basically it, is we have all these wires right here that need power. So you basically just strip them. I'll strip them extra long, and I'm basically just gonna tie them all together, because this isn't me actually wiring it into a car. This is just me like rigging it so that I could get it to start on the ground for, you know, just maybe like 20-30 seconds or something like that. So we're not worried about doing a bunch of crazy stuff for, you know, fuses and relays and all that stuff. We're basically just gonna touch it to the battery and hope she starts. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I know wiring seems like a daunting task, but you know, part of it is just actually doing it. So doing it and seeing if it works, and kind of almost knowing what you're doing. All that needs is just like I'll basically just get like an alligator clamp and just plug that guy in. So yeah, look at that. Bam, done. So that's pretty much all it needs on the ECU side of things. Now you see right here on this little plug, there's a white plug, a gray plug. I don't think nothing plugs into this plug. But you'll see like this black and yellow, this thick wire. I think that needs power. One of these needs power, and something, I know something needs ground, I think, but I'm gonna look it up. All right, so then you'll see this right here. This is the engine loom to body loom. And you'll scroll down, sorry you can't really see it, but you'll see right there, number 6, says this body loom needs this pin to be connected to the engine R input and reverse lights, and then the one right below that, alternator battery voltage sense. So that, like I said, that's pretty much the only wire that is, I was using my phone to film. That is this thing right here, and this is the only wire that I had to actually cut on the engine side of the harness, you know, in my drift car, because like I said, I use this. So I'm not even gonna use that because I don't need the alternator to charge right now anyhow. All right, so now we are on to this body loom plug over here. It'll focus. So you'll see that right there. It is the white body loom plug, which they're both pretty much white. But you'll basically just scroll down and you get down to 7, 8, and 9. Those are the ones you need to connect. One is power to coils, this is power to fuel injectors, and then this is the starter motor relay switched power. And then right here, main EFI relay switched power. So yeah, that's 9, 8, 7, and 6. So basically you look right here at this diagram. So 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's basically all these 3 in a row on this brown plug, which is what we're going the backside into. But if you look at it on this plug, if you were to do that, it would just be basically those 3 right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and basically do the same thing with these, just tie them all up and you know, into one little bundle. All right, so now we are scrolling through and we come to this last body plug harness. As you scroll down, you'll see number 5 needs connected when you're in the crank position, and that's the one that I was talking about that needs to like blip the throttle or whatever. And then you go to 9, and then that is the one that needs that's ignition switched power. So on this little body plug right here, you can see 5 is like right there, and then 9 is right over here, and they don't have any pins in it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to de-pin this and put 2 of these wires in the 5 and 9 position, and then basically just wire straight to those so that it'll actually work. So this looks kind of ghetto, but basically what I did is I tied I just got a stock Supra, like any sort of intake fuel pump, wired positive and negative to it, and then ran it into the thing. I got this little like quick splice, like little brass thing right there, and then I have the return ran into the tank. So basically all I have to do to get the fuel to prime is just hit the fuel button right there. And that should be priming right now. I think at least. It didn't sound like it. Maybe it's not getting any. Maybe it quit. Okay, so here we have fuel pump. You hear fuel pump. And you got to make sure that it's actually draining back into the tank. You can see I got the wires tied up right here, just kind of twisted together, and then same thing with right here. And then I basically just tapped into this harness because I couldn't get the damn pins out because I lost the thing. So I don't have it plugged in right here, but this little black wire is my starter signal. So as soon as I hit that, it cranks. That is the big thick yellow wire right here. That is the starter signal. But yeah, this wire is the stock one. It comes right off the battery. I have a negative cable going right to the intake manifold. And yeah, so I guess before I crank on it too much more, I should probably come over here and take that stuff off. Tape off the things. Yeah, well, after this we should do a little test fire, so I'm pretty excited to see this guy run, because I hadn't actually planned on starting this guy just because it was the harness and that whole situation, but after realizing it wasn't going to be too bad, I decided it was good. So I guess here we go. Oh, let me get my fire extinguishers. So always make sure you have fire extinguishers. I'm gonna give one to you guys, so you guys have one right here. Oh, actually, the other thing I want to do before I start it is pull off this front pulley, because I don't want it like shooting power steering fluid all over, because that's what they do. Alright, so it turns out I had one of the pins backwards on like the body plug harness, the one that goes to the coils and the injectors, and so basically both of those didn't have any power. So we should be good now. So we'll see. Yeah, that's how you smoke up your shop. You can see we got a nice haze in here, and tranny fluid getting spit. So I guess that wasn't too bad. But yeah, so now we got, yeah, it looks like somebody did a burnout in here. But so yeah, one of the things that I've kind of noticed with a lot of like the 2J VVTIs versus the 1J VVTIs is it almost seems like all of the 2J VVTIs smoke. From like burnt valve stem seals or whatever. So that is one of the things I want to do to it while I put it on the engine stand. So I may or might not pull off the head and do head gasket. I do have head studs for it, and I don't know, I might as well just probably yank off the head and do the valve stem seals, dual valve springs, retainers, all that stuff, and do the head studs, all that stuff. But yeah, so I guess it runs, which is really cool. Like I said, they're pretty simple to wire. I basically just got kind of confused on that one harness, and not actually confused. I had it pinned right, but there wasn't on the IS300 like ECU or body pins. It didn't actually have a pin right there, so I technically would have needed to like de-pin that and then put it in the right spot, which is what I did on my drift car. And like I said, I didn't have the little pick here to do that. So yeah, I guess now the process is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and yank off the automatic transmission and then get this thing up in the air and start pulling off the turbos and, you know, intake manifold, all the front accessories, and try to organize all that stuff, put it in a nice tote so that I don't lose it. So when I do go to put it back together, I know where everything is. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so this thing is on the engine stand. I was going to mess with it a little bit more, try to get the turbos and everything off it tonight, but I'm kind of tired and it's time to go home. I did, however, stuff the transmission. So I had a transmission here, another transmission over here, the one from the giveaway car. So I went ahead and I stuffed basically both of the auto trannies back there, as well as the stock like twin turbo system. And this is the spare parts 1J that's just been kind of robbed of a bunch of random crap. But eventually I would like to put this in something, or maybe at least get it to where I could do a compression test in it and see if it's even worth it. But it does have a most of a rear sump pan on it, at least. So I think all I really need for it is just like, I think I even have the pickup tube. I just don't know where it's at. Yeah. Pickup tube and the lower pan, and I would have like a full rear sump setup. So I should probably figure out where that thing is for the pan or the pickup, because I'm pretty sure I do have a pickup tube. But either way, that might be what I end up doing for the Supra, is robbing the one off of here. And then since this is front sump, the Supras require rear sump. Then I'll basically have that thing one step closer to like going in a 240 or something like that. So that's kind of the plan, but yeah. All right, guys, we are back here. It is a new day, and yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start by yanking off the twin turbos on this thing, and then I'm gonna put my nice pretty turbo manifold and turbo on it. Then I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna put a picture on the internet, and then I'm gonna probably continue to tear down the engine, or maybe pull off the head, or maybe not, because I'm not sure if that's what's happening yet. But do something. I just want to do a quick little shout out to these mountain wrenches that I have right here. You can see it's got like these little wiggly ends. It's got a 12 and a 14 mil, but you can see them stuffed way up in here. Man, this is what the wrench looks like. I have these things on my Amazon affiliate page. I like to put a lot of like the random tools and stuff that I use kind of on there, and I get like a little bit of a kickback if you guys do end up ordering them. So I put like relevant, you know, products and things that I use on the channel a lot, and these are one of the things. I know in one of the last videos I was using an 8mm, and it looked like it broke, but they have these little guys on the end, and I just didn't have it pushed in all the way. You can see they almost go in when you do that. But yeah, these especially the 14mm, how long it is and how it's got that little bend on the end, and how it's a little kind of extended right there. I mean, it just almost works perfect for yanking these damn turbos off, trying to get these dills up in there. So I would say that the best, you know, if you are going to be doing this yourself, remove the mount, remove these two little brackets, kind of the braces, and then a lot of people were taking these things like apart in two pieces, and David actually took his apart in two pieces, and I could pretty much get them off by basically leaving them as one complete deal. Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. But yeah, you could really get in there and actually get to all the random nuts and bolts. So I'll continue. All right, so I got the turbos off pretty much in one piece as far as, you know, them all together. And I basically left as much of this crap together as I can, and then I could just kind of set them, you know, almost complete together so that they don't take up a bunch of room. Because as you can tell, that thing laying on the ground is kind of a big chunk of room. But honestly, I don't know what to do with these turbos. So as of now, we have 4 sets of these JDM twin turbos laying around. And I don't know what to do with them, because it's not really worth putting them on something. I think you know, it'd be cool to put those ones, because they seem like they're pretty good, on the giveaway. Or might put those on the Supra. But you know, at that point, it almost makes just more sense to go single turbo. So I guess in the meantime, oh look, it looks like that gasket was a little bit broke out. So maybe it had a little bit of an exhaust leak. But in the meantime, like I said, what I wanted to do was take a pretty picture. So as you can see right here, this is the Future Fabrication manifold that I recently purchased for this thing, and this thing is absolutely beautiful. And then right here we have the magical Garrett Gtx3584rs, and so I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this thing on there, pretty much to only take a picture, because you know, I guess it'll kind of get me excited, get you guys excited. But you know, I've really wanted to see that manifold and turbo on this engine for a little while. But yeah, let's throw it on there. with the old and in with the new. So yeah, like I said, this is a Future Fab 2JZGTE turbo manifold, basically the same between VVTI and non-VVTI for the 2J at least. This is Garrett's new, or not new, I guess last year it was new after SEMA. They kind of unveiled it there. But this is their GTX3584rs Gen 2 turbo. And so this little guy, even though this almost looks like the exact size turbo that is on the drift car, this thing will support 1,000 horsepower, which is absolutely insane for such a small turbo like that. And you know, for the spool characteristics and everything, to have it really, really streetable, but still be able to make a ton of power without having to run like nitrous or anti-lag or anything like that. That's one thing I really, really like about the VVTIs, is they seem to really, really spool turbos nice. I love the Garrett turbos, the dual ball bearing, amazing turbos. I've had the same turbo here in my drift car for a year and a half, almost 2 seasons of drifting, and like I said, basically same size. This one will support, I think, around 700 horse. This is a GTX 3582R, and that is their Gen 1 GTX turbo. But yeah, as well with a tile 44 millimeter wastegate. But yeah, this has the Vband exhaust housing on it, and this is Garrett's own thing. It's not like a tile or anything, so that's like a nice stainless steel piece. But yeah, I was gonna have this manifold actually like heat treated or with the ceramic coating, but honestly I didn't want to like take away from this awesome TIG welding and the nice stainless and the the nice color and the weld. So John over there at Future Fab, he does amazing work. So if you use the code all caps Motion Auto TV, you can actually save 10% on basically any of his products, which is really cool. And as you guys know, I've been a big supporter of Garrett turbos, and I feel so fortunate that that they kind of see the value in me and are willing to work with me on stuff like that. So I mean, pretty much everything that almost I care about a whole lot has Garrett turbo on it. The SR and the Datsun, the giveaway SR, this car, this thing's gonna have a Garrett turbo on it. This is gonna have a Garrett turbo. With the giveaway car, we had Garrett turbo. My truck comes factory with a Garrett turbo. So yeah, overall great products, and I'm just thankful to be working with such awesome companies. So I guess what we're gonna be doing is, I don't know if we're gonna do anything else to this today. I almost want to just leave it like this for a couple days and look at it and give me some motivation. So I might go ahead and just order the valve stem seals, or the valve stem seals, the valve springs retainers, and the head gasket and everything, and then we'll actually pull this thing apart. But yeah, so I want you guys to be sure to let me know exactly what valve cover, like what color you think I should paint the valve cover, as well as any other things you think I could do to make this engine a lot cleaner. I know the factory electronic throttle body is not necessarily the prettiest thing, but it works pretty well. I don't know, we might switch over to like a GM style throttle body and maybe a nice pretty intake manifold, but I'm not 100% sure yet. It's still kind of all up in the air. And yeah, I should be working with ECU Master for the ECU in this thing, and we'll have a wiring specialties harness on it, and we're gonna have a crazy Supra coming soon. So the tranny for this thing is right here. This is the Nissan 370Z tranny. I am going to be using the Collins adapter kit. Again, same thing that's been in my drift car for like 2 seasons. Their new kit comes with a thing where you use the factory bell housing off the automatic transmission, because these ones are actually pretty big right here, and with the ears and stuff, they just don't really fit in like the Supras pretty well. Using this bell housing in the 240s, they fit all right with a little bit of clearancing, a little bit of hammering and stuff. But basically, that you cut along this rib and then put in this little plate, and then you use the factory bell housing, so everything almost lines up just like factory, which is really cool. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Like I said, let me know what color you think I should paint the valve cover. I'm thinking like, either black, like all blacked out, or maybe like the same red as everything, and then like polish the valve covers and polish some other things. But let me know what you think. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.